Trump giveth and Trump taketh away. First, the taking part. Trump revoked his former national security advisor John Bolton's security clearance yesterday.
Here's Trump discussing why he did that.
Why did he remove John Bolton's security clearance, sir?
Because I think there was enough time. It's we take a job. You take a job. You want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we? I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. You know, we blew up the Middle East and we left. Then we got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people. And John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it for life.
Responded to the situation on X, writing in part, "Notwithstanding my criticisms of President Biden's national security policies, he nonetheless made the decision to extend that protection to me in 2021. The Justice Department filed criminal charges against an Iranian Revolutionary Guard official in 2022 for attempting to hire a hitman to target me. That threat remains today, as also demonstrated by the recent arrest of someone trying to arrange for President Trump's own assassination."
On the flip side, Trump has also decided to grant temporary security clearances to incoming officials who haven't fully completed the vetting process, citing a backlog of background checks.
A former intelligence official who spoke to CNN on background and who has worked on clearance issues said this could have negative consequences. He called it a, quote, dangerous thing, and said that foreign intelligence partners would be reasonable to restrict their intel sharing with the US.
Author and co-founder of federal clearance-assisted service William Henderson told Newsweek that these kinds of expedited procedures do in fact exist.
To be sure, though, Henderson said that the White House seemed to have bypassed everything in the process. Podcaster Eric Erickson wrote on X, "Whether you like John Bolton or not, he played a role in wiping out a terror leader for Donald Trump, and a foreign government wants him murdered because of it. Our government should protect him."
Filmmaker and social media personality Mike Cernovich wrote, "John Bolton, a private citizen, should pay for his own security. Trump has made the right choice. Jack Smith must also stop bleeding taxpayers. He can take care of himself. Fauci, too." So there are two things happening here. We discussed yesterday about John Bolton losing his security clearance alongside the 51 officials who had signed the letter saying that the Hunter Biden laptop story looked like Russian disinformation. This is now a step further. John Bolton is also losing his U.S. Secret Service protection, which he has had since, I believe, 2021, based on threats that Iran has made.
Because it was the killing of
two-way threats.
Right, it was the killing of Soleimani, I think.
Yes, killing of Soleimani, yeah.
The threat, anyway.
Yes, so he is losing Secret Service protection. It's an interesting issue. I don't, even though I heartily disagree with John Bolton, and I think he has been a terrible influence on the Trump administration and the Bush administration, constantly advocating for more war with Iran. He has been threatened by Iran. I don't think he should be killed or allowed to be killed, no matter how much I disagree with him, on one hand. On the other hand, well, we have a finite amount of security resources, as we've seen over this summer with Donald Trump coming under an assassination's bullet. We can't protect everyone indefinitely, so it is not necessarily unreasonable to me that there would be a end at which point you're not protected anymore?
Yeah, I think you and I both have a fair degree of distaste for John Bolton's foreign policy views and his propensity to enthuse about the likelihood of war, of bombing Iran, and so on and so forth. I think that is a separate issue from whether he has Secret Service or other security protection paid for by the government. If, as seems to be the case here, the threat to him emanates from something that occurred during his public service, it doesn't seem unreasonable to me that he should have that protection. And I think that that is different from saying, and this is to your point about the finite nature of security resources, I think that's different from saying, anyone who's ever been national security advisor gets a Secret Service detail for the rest of their lives. That doesn't seem viable. But in Bolton's case, it does seem specific to an active threat, and therefore I do think it's a little bit different. I was interested also in something that Trump said there, because it picked up on a point that we had discussed yesterday, which is what actually is, this is to do with security clearances rather than protection, what actually is the rationale for people having lifelong security clearances, especially when they are retired from public service in the intelligence agencies themselves? Maybe some of our audience can inform us why that exists, but it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
No, it really doesn't. It's particularly that a lot of those people are going to end up serving in on lobbying organizations for various foreign policy goals,
or in
perhaps
private roles,
advising foreign governments. You were serving in defense contracting roles, all of those sorts of things. Leveraging this information. Now, I think everyone should have access to a lot more of this information. Not truly classified information like the location of spies and that sort of thing. But I roll my eyes whenever the government says, "Oh, you can't know about this for some national security reason," and then it's like a grocery list or something. That's their attitude for this. So on one hand, I don't have more restrictions on what people can know, but to just have this class of elites and former government employees who have access to information no one else does, even when they're beyond serving in the government, it does not seem to make a lot of sense to me.
No, I think we're on the same page there. One area where we might be on a slightly different page is, I don't want us to forget about this thing where Trump apparently is issuing security clearances, or the Trump administration is issuing security clearances to people who have not gone through the vetting procedures. That seems harder to defend to me. It seems just as a matter of basic national security is even too strong a word. Just as a matter of basic professionalism, I think you should probably have a vetting process before you're given a national security clearance.
Sure, I don't know what the rationale is from the Trump side of things, but I can agree with you. It seems like they should just wait till they go through their formal vetting and confirmation process, although I do truly expect everyone to be confirmed at the cabinet level.
Yeah. Well, I feel we've been unexpectedly fair to John Bolton here. Let's break right into
We don't like him, though. We don't like that guy and his mustache. Get that mug out of here. Lots more to discuss on Rising today. Please stay with us.